a woman transmigrated into a cannon fodder supporting character. At 3 years old, she already had foundation establishment cultivation. By 6, she was the master of a peak. Magic and divine artifacts in hand, but even so, she couldn't beat the male lead with his protagonist halo. She was easily crushed and humiliated. Kumo, what is this place? Why can't I get through? He offered a friendly gesture. He was greeted with an even bigger fireball. He actually reborn back to 6 years old. This little guy's faction was quickly crushed by the male lead. A maid came to remind her about the initiation ceremony. He then remembered that at 6 years old, he was Han Jianfeng's disciple, and the youngest foundation establishment in history. Then, wouldn't the male lead be only 10 years old? And she's already in foundation establishment realm. Yi Chenyuan must still be struggling to cultivate somewhere. Then, shouldn't she take advantage of his weakness? At this time, Yi Chenyuan was devastated. His loved ones died in front of him. He was about to be killed. Then, she appeared and saved him. He didn't expect a little girl to steal his kill. Yi Chenyuan was destined to die by his hand. Yi Chenyuan didn't know who he was, but still thanked him for the rescue. Who could imagine that this future powerful man would be so weak at one point? But he didn't forget the reason he came here. A strange vine appeared and wrapped around him. I'm not here to save you, I'm here for the heavenly pearl in your body. Do you have any last words? Yi Chenyuan sensed that the other party was a nascent soul cultivator. He had no power to resist. Since he couldn't escape, then just kill him. She didn't expect such a young Yi Chenyuan to have such guts. But she couldn't be soft-hearted. She created an ice arrow. The ice arrow shot toward Yi Chenyuan. It paused just as it was about to pierce his neck. He thought of the male lead's divine artifact, Sujing. If he killed him now, he'd have to spend more effort to find it. So, it wasn't because he was soft-hearted. Especially if it's so easy to kill him, it would be better to make good use of him. He decided to change his approach, to take him as a disciple. As long as he became stronger, he would follow him and he would be satisfied. Yi Chenyuan was shocked by Yuan Chu's move. But, considering he had nothing, he didn't have anything to worry about, only that he was a cripple. He feared he wouldn't even be able to enter the spiritual sect. Yuan Chu said that as long as he became a disciple, he would help him repair his dantian. Yi Chenyuan did not hesitate anymore. He knelt down to offer his respect. Now, he even had the male lead with a protagonist halo as his disciple. How could he not enjoy himself? Now that they have a master-disciple relationship, Yuan Chu reverted to her original form. Yi Chenyuan knew that a cultivator could restore their form, but it would take 100 years. It seems that the one he had met was a fake old monster. She is shaping herself as old one. Surprisingly, she's actually a girl. Yuan Chu's small hands were so cute. From now on, you're my disciple. I'm taking you to repair your dantian. In a few days, it'll be the sect initiation ceremony. You have to participate. Even if your results are bad, I'll still accept you. You'll be my only disciple. Yi Chenyuan did not expect her to value him so highly. If my dantian can't be fixed, wouldn't she regret it? Yuan Chu told him that places with herbs were dangerous, so he had to follow him closely. Yi Chenyuan knew that places with treasures weren't easy to find, but he still chose to trust her. Yuan Chu didn't expect that the two of them, who were enemies in the past, had become master and disciple. Yi Chenyuan, seeing that she was staring at him, thought she was hungry and gave her the roasted meat. Seeing her eating like a child, it's hard to believe this master is actually a child. She had some sauce at the corner of her mouth, so she wiped it for her. The two were so adorable. Yi Chenyuan panicked. Is master angry that I was impudent? Sensing his worry, Yuan Chu comforted him, saying you don't need to be so formal with me. Life is about being carefree, eating meat, and drinking wine. A few days later, they arrived at the edge of the sea. To reach their destination, they had to pass a red fog. This fog would shatter one's physical body. Yi Chenyuan's heavenly pearl could pass, but it can't be activated right now, unless he chose to share it with his master. Yuan Chu directly hugged him. Hold on to me, there's a space tear here. She used her spiritual body to shield him from the damage, and reassured him not to worry. Yi Chenyuan's heart felt like it was tightly gripped. When he woke up again, he noticed that his master was gone. He anxiously called out her name. Yuan Chu suddenly appeared behind him. She teased him, do you feel safe with me around? Yi Chenyuan almost jumped out of his skin. Seeing her in a pink dress, she looked even more adorable. Yi Chenyuan blushed. Master is beautiful. Yuan Chu told him that this was his treasure ground. He could take any herbs he needed. Each herb here was priceless. Master had told him this secret. Was she not afraid that he would reveal it? He was the son of a general. He was useless and like a dog. He almost died on the street, and his dantian was destroyed. In this world, everyone steps on others to get ahead, and she knew he had a divine artifact, but did not kill him. Instead, she was putting her heart and soul into fixing his dantian. What could he do for her? The most precious thing he had was the heavenly pearl, and this precious original pill. Yuan Chu was curious why her little disciple would suddenly give her something. Then, she understood that he probably wanted to give her a gift. Happily, she picked it up. Is this the most precious thing you have? Yi Chenyuan nodded. This was the highest grade pill he could create, but he swore that in the future, he would give his master something better. This silly child is so endearing. She playfully flicked his forehead. Are you stupid? I'm only 6 years old, what would I do with a restoration pill? Yi Chenyuan was shocked. 6 years old. How is that possible? He wasn't even in the Qi training realm. He didn't deserve to live, let alone our protagonist. Yuan Chu explained that her mother was a later-stage out-of-body expert, but never advanced further. She was afraid that Yuan Chu would be bullied after her death. So, at the age of 3, she used her life force, using a secret technique to forcefully promote his cultivation. Yi Chenyuan understood. Master didn't have any other family, did she? Otherwise her mother wouldn't protect her like this. For some reason, he felt a sharp pain in his heart, as if he had made a decision. Golden light appeared on his shoulder. The heavenly pearl shot out. He was determined to share the heavenly pearl with his master. In the future, if master is ever in danger, she can hide in it. Cultivation within is also very fast. Yuan Chu didn't make any moves. Seeing that he wasn't reacting, Yi Chenyuan became a bit anxious. Yuan Chu couldn't help but sigh. Her childish look faded, replaced with a solemn expression. You just revealed your trump card to someone you've known for a few days. What if I change my mind and want to kill you to take it? Yi Chenyuan smiled wryly. If that's my fate, then I can't blame anyone. Thinking of how young he was and the hardships he had been through, he couldn't help but want to do this. Yuan Chu was speechless, but didn't plan to accept it. Instead, she scolded him to not take out the heavenly pearl so carelessly. Yi Chenyuan didn't understand. Weren't you trying to get the heavenly pearl when we first met? Seeing that he was still confused, Yuan Chu pinched his cheek. If you really want to thank me, then in the future, when I ask you for something, you have to give it to me. Yi Chenyuan agreed and asked what it was. Yuan Chu lowered her eyes slightly. It's a mirror, a divine artifact. Only those with the heavenly pearl can find it. You wouldn't be reluctant to give it to me then, would you? My heart is pounding. Big white eyes. To repair her beloved disciple's dantian, Yuan Chu went to the sect leader. Facing the angry sect leader, Yuan Chu admitted her mistakes. I know my cultivation is prone to Qi deviation, and it's easy to be face-slapped. I was wrong, Uncle Sect Leader. Can you not put me in closed-door cultivation? The sect leader was speechless. He had taken all the words out of his mouth. What else could he say? But, there were other disciples watching. He had to uphold the rules. Yuan Chu looked at the sect leader with pitiful puppy dog eyes. The sect leader blushed. How could she be so cute? I can't be harsh. Worthy of being a face-slap prodigy. The onlookers were dissatisfied. Normally, it was a year minimum. Having a sect leader uncle was a benefit. Yuan Chu loudly thanked the sect leader uncle. Then, she awkwardly said that she brought someone back today. The sect leader's face darkened. Did she not know the rules? How could she bring someone back without permission? Yuan Chu blindly said that he would go through the process. Besides, everyone has disciples, but this half-baked cultivator still didn't have any. Apart from the maids, she doesn't have anyone to play with. If such a small request was denied, the sect leader would be heartless. Seeing her on the verge of tears, he reluctantly agreed. However, Yuan Chu then made a more outrageous request. On the other side, Yi Chenyuan cleaned up, revealing his handsome face. Xiao Qiu's eyes were sparkling. He would probably steal many hearts later on. She casually asked him, do you really want to be Yuan Chu's disciple? She's really only 6 years old. He knew that. He had to quickly become stronger to protect her. Xiao Qiu nodded, seeming to have understood something. No wonder she would risk being punished to bring him back. Yi Chenyuan nervously asked, will master be punished for bringing me back? Before Xiao Qiu could answer, Yuan Chu returned, triumphantly announcing that his issue was resolved and his dantian was no longer a problem. Now, he just needed to register and participate in the initiation ceremony in days. Yi Chenyuan's heart warmed. He knew she had gone to plead for him. He would never let her down. However, Yi Chenyuan encountered an inner demon during his dantian repair. This guy was so insane. He actually fell in love with a 6-year-old girl. Just as Yi Chenyuan was repairing his dantian, he suddenly fell into a heart demon. With Yuan Chu's timely help, Yi Chenyuan successfully repaired his dantian. Yuan Chu happily held his hand. Now you don't have to be afraid of anyone anymore. Yi Chenyuan's face turned red looking at Yuan Chu's small hand. Don't think too much, she's still a child. But his eyes couldn't help but trace his master's small hand. He didn't hear anything else she said. Confused, he was brought to a spiritual pool by Yuan Chu. Yuan Chu raised her small hand and chanted. A box flew out of the pool. Yuan Chu was in pain, but kept telling herself that it was an investment. The male lead stock was definitely a sure win. Yuan Chu gave the box to Yi Chenyuan. Yi Chenyuan felt the rich spiritual energy within the box. This is too precious, I can't accept it. Yuan Chu told him that there were conditions. He had to be in the top 3. Moreover, she knew that there was a powerful soul sleeping in his body. This made Yi Chenyuan stunned. Li Lao was a famous alchemist and spirit manipulator. Ever since his defeat, he has been dormant. But this is his biggest secret. How did Master know? Yuan Chu was transmigrated. How could she not know? But she still made it seem that she read it in a book to gloss over it. She gave the 10th Asandia spiritual water to strengthen him so that the soul could awaken. Yi Chenyuan looked at the box in his hand. This was more precious than a divine artifact. How could Master just give it to him? Based on his capacity, Yuan Chu had him absorb half of the 10,000-year-old spiritual water. Yi Chenyuan now had the strength of a chi refining stage. After a bit of fuss, Yuan Chu bid farewell and went to rest. Watching the tired figure of her master, Yi Chenyuan felt extremely touched. Li Lao, under the influence of the spiritual water, also woke up. He couldn't help but praise the good master Yi Chenyuan had found. Yi Chenyuan knew he was very lucky, so he couldn't let her down. He must get first place in the sect initiation ceremony. A woman transmigrated into a cannon fodder supporting character. At 3 years old, she already had foundation establishment cultivation. By 6, she was the master of a peak. Magic and divine artifacts in hand, but even so, she couldn't beat the male lead with his protagonist halo. She was easily crushed and humiliated. I offered him a friendly gesture, cleaned up, greeted with an even bigger fireball. He actually reborn back to 6 years old. This little guy's faction was quickly crushed by the male lead. A maid came to remind her about the initiation ceremony. He then remembered that at 6 years old, he was Han Jianfeng's peak master, and the youngest foundation establishment in history. Then, wouldn't the male lead be only 10 years old? And she's already in foundation establishment realm. Yi Chenyuan must still be struggling to cultivate somewhere. Then, shouldn't she take advantage of his weakness? At this time, Yi Chenyuan was devastated. His loved ones died in front of him. He was about to be killed. Then, she appeared and saved him. He didn't expect a little girl to steal his kill. Yi Chenyuan was destined to die by his hand. Yi Chenyuan didn't know who he was, but still thanked him for the rescue. Who could imagine that this future powerful man would be so weak at one point? But, he didn't forget the reason he came here. A strange vine appeared and wrapped around him. I'm not here to save you, I'm here for the heavenly pearl in your body. Do you have any last words? Yi Chenyuan sensed that the other party was a nascent soul cultivator. He had no power to resist. Since he couldn't escape, then just kill him. Yuan Chu didn't expect such a young Yi Chenyuan to have such guts. But, she couldn't be soft-hearted. She created an ice arrow. The ice arrow shot toward Yi Chenyuan. It paused just as it was about to pierce his neck. He thought of the male lead's divine artifact, Su Jing. If he killed him now, he'd have to spend more effort to find it. Water. So, it wasn't because he was soft-hearted. Especially if it's so easy to kill him, it would be better to make good use of him. He decided to change his approach, to take him as a disciple. As long as he became stronger, he would follow him and he would be satisfied. Yi Chenyuan was shocked by Yuan Chu's move. But, considering he had nothing, he didn't have anything to worry about, only that he was a cripple. He feared he wouldn't even be able to enter the spiritual sect. Yuan Chu said that as long as he became a disciple, he would help him repair his dantian. Yi Chenyuan did not hesitate anymore. He knelt down to offer his respect. The little girl was born and immediately called him father. At the age of 3, she had the foundation establishment realm. By 6, she was the master of the sect. Now, she even had the male lead with a protagonist halo as her disciple. How could she not enjoy herself? Now that they have a master-disciple relationship, Yuan Chu reverted to her original form. Yi Chenyuan knew that a cultivator could restore their form, but it would take 100 years. It seems that the one he had met was a fake old monster. She is shaping herself as old one. Surprisingly, she's actually a girl. Yuan Chu's small hands were so cute. From now on, you're my disciple. I'm taking you to repair your dantian. In a few days, it'll be the sect initiation ceremony. You have to participate. Even if your results are bad, I'll still accept you. You'll be my only disciple. Yi Chenyuan did not expect her to value him so highly. If my dantian can't be fixed, wouldn't she regret it? Yuan Chu told him that places with herbs were dangerous, so he had to follow him closely. Yi Chenyuan knew that places with treasures weren't easy to find, but he still chose to trust her. Yuan Chu didn't expect that the two of them, who were enemies in the past, had become master and disciple. Yi Chenyuan, seeing that she was staring at him, thought she was hungry and gave her the roasted meat. Seeing her eating like a child, it's hard to believe this master is actually a child. She had some sauce at the corner of her mouth, so she wiped it for her. The two were so adorable. Yi Chenyuan panicked. Is master angry that I was impudent? Sensing his worry, Yuan Chu comforted him, saying you don't need to be so formal with me. Life is about being carefree, eating meat, and drinking wine. A few days later, they arrived at the edge of the sea. To reach their destination, they had to pass a red fog. This fog would shatter one's physical body. Yi Chenyuan's heavenly pearl could pass, but it can't be activated right now, unless he chose to share it with his master. Yuan Chu directly hugged him. The map showed that there was an opening. She used her spiritual body to shield him from the damage, and reassured him not to worry. Yi Chenyuan's heart felt like it was tightly gripped. When he woke up again, he noticed that his master was gone. He anxiously called out her name. Yuan Chu suddenly appeared behind him. Do you feel safe with me around? Yi Chenyuan almost jumped out of his skin. Seeing her in a pink dress, she looked even more adorable. Yi Chenyuan blushed. Master is beautiful. Yuan Chu told him that this was his secret training ground. He could take any herbs he needed. Each herb here was priceless. Master had told him this secret. Was she not afraid that he would reveal it? He was the son of a general, a useless friend. He almost died on the street, and his dantian was destroyed. In this world, everyone steps on others to get ahead, and she knew he had a divine artifact, but didn't kill him. Instead, she was putting her heart and soul into fixing his dantian. What could he do for her? The most precious thing he had was the heavenly pearl, and this precious original pill. Yuan Chu was curious why her little disciple would suddenly give her something. Then, she understood that he probably wanted to give her a gift. Happily, she picked it up. Is this the most precious thing you have? Yi Chenyuan nodded. This was the highest grade pill he could create, but he swore that in the future, he would give his master something better. This silly child is so endearing. She playfully flicked his forehead. Are you stupid? I'm only 6 years old. What would I do with a restoration pill? Yi Chenyuan was shocked. 6 years old. How is that possible? At 10, he wasn't even in the Qi training realm. He didn't deserve to live, he thought. Yuan Chu explained that her mother was a later-stage out-of-body expert, but never advanced further. She was afraid that Yuan Chu would be bullied after her death. So, at the age of 3, she used her life force, using a secret technique to forcefully promote his cultivation. Yi Chenyuan understood. Master didn't have any other family, did she? Otherwise her mother wouldn't protect her like this. For some reason, he felt a sharp pain in his heart, as if he had made a decision. Golden light appeared on his shoulder. The heavenly pearl shot out. He was determined to share the heavenly pearl with his master. In the future, if master is ever in danger, she can hide in it. Cultivation within is also very fast. Yuan Chu didn't make any moves. Seeing that he wasn't reacting, Yi Chenyuan became a bit anxious. Yuan Chu couldn't help but sigh. Her childish look faded, replaced with a solemn expression. You just revealed your trump card to someone you've known for a few days. What if I change my mind and want to kill you to take it? Yi Chenyuan smiled wryly. If that's my fate, then I can't blame anyone. Thinking of how young he was and the hardships he had been through, he couldn't help but want to do this. Yuan Chu was speechless, but didn't plan to accept it. Instead, she scolded him to not take out the heavenly pearl so carelessly. Yi Chenyuan didn't understand. Weren't you trying to get the heavenly pearl when we first met? Seeing that he was still confused, Yuan Chu pinched his cheek. If you really want to thank me, then in the future, when I ask you for something, you have to give it to me. Yi Chenyuan agreed and asked what it was. Yuan Chu lowered her eyes slightly. It's a mirror, a divine artifact. Only those with the heavenly pearl can find it. You wouldn't be reluctant to give it to me then, would you? You're a 6-year-old's heart, 800 new colors. To repair her beloved disciple's dantian, Yuan Chu went to the sect leader. Facing the angry sect leader, Yuan Chu immediately apologized. I know my cultivation is prone to chi deviation, and it's easy to be face-slapped. I was wrong, Uncle Sect Leader. Can you not put me in closed-door cultivation? The sect leader was speechless. He had taken all the words out of his mouth. What else could he say? But there were other disciples watching. He had to uphold the rules. Yuan Chu looked at the sect leader with pitiful puppy dog eyes. The sect leader blushed. How could she be so cute? I can't be harsh, worthy of being a face-slap prodigy. He made her face the wall for a day. The onlookers were dissatisfied. Normally, it was a year minimum. Having a sect leader uncle was a benefit. Yuan Chu cried out, thank you Uncle Sect Leader. Then she said embarrassedly that she also brought someone back today. The sect leader's face darkened. Didn't she know the rules of the sect? How could she just bring someone in? Yuan Chu said that she would have him go through the proper procedures to enter the mountain. Also everyone else had disciples and she was alone. Aside from Xie Qiu, she had no one to play with. If you rejected such a small request, the sect leader was too heartless. Seeing how sad she looked, the sect leader agreed. However, Yuan Chu then made another request. On the other side, Yi Chenyuan, now clean, revealed his handsome face. Xie Qiu's eyes filled with hearts. You'll be popular with the girls in the future. Casually she asked, are you really going to become Yuan Chu's disciple? She's only 6 years old, you know. He knew. He had to become stronger to protect her. Xie Qiu let out a sigh as if she understood something. No wonder she brought him here, despite the danger of punishment. Yi Chenyuan nervously asked, will Master be punished for bringing me back? Before Xie Qiu could answer, Yuan Chu returned happily. It's all settled. Your dantian is fixed. Now you just have to prepare for the sect initiation ceremony in 10 days. Yi Chenyuan's heart was warm. He knew she went to the sect leader for him. He would not disappoint her. However, Yi Chenyuan encountered a demon during his dantian repair. How can this little guy be so cute? He actually fell for a 6-year-old. Just as Yi Chenyuan was restoring his dantian, he suddenly fell into a demonic trance. Under Yuan Chu's help, Yi Chenyuan successfully repaired his dantian. Yuan Chu happily grabbed his hand. Now you don't have to fear times more enemies. Yi Chenyuan looked at Yuan Chu's small hand, his face red. Don't think too much. Master is still just a child. Yet, he couldn't help but stare at her small hand. He didn't hear anything she said after that. Completely confused, he was taken by Yuan Chu to a spiritual spring. Yuan Chu raised her small hand, and a heavy sound was heard. From the spring, a box appeared. Yuan Chu endured the heartache. She kept telling herself this is an investment. He is sure to be profitable. Yuan Chu gave the box to Yi Chenyuan. Yi Chenyuan felt the spiritual energy in the jade box. This was too precious. He couldn't accept it. Yuan Chu told him that there were conditions. He had to be the best. Also, she knew there was a powerful soul in his body, but it was dormant right now. This shocked Yi Chenyuan. Li Lao is the famous ancient refiner and alchemist. He had been with him ever since he woke up, but that was his greatest secret. How did she know? Yuan Chu was a transmigrator. How could she not know? But she made up that she read it in a book to cover it up. She gave him this 10,000-year spiritual liquid so he could grow stronger, and that soul could awaken. He could help him during the ceremony. Yi Chenyuan looked at the box in his hand. This was more precious than a divine artifact. People would go crazy for it. But Master just gave it to him. Yuan Chu helped him refine half of the 10,000-year spiritual liquid according to his endurance. Yi Chenyuan had the strength of the Foundation realm now. After only a little, Yuan Chu told Yi Chenyuan goodbye to rest. Seeing his tired master leave, Yi Chenyuan felt extremely touched. Li Lao also woke up under the effect of the spiritual liquid. He was impressed by Yi Chenyuan's good fortune of finding a good master. Yi Chenyuan also knew he was very lucky. He had to not let her down. During the opening ceremony, he had to achieve first place. This little guy got too cocky. Someone actually wanted to steal his 6-year-old happiness. In the arena, the experts of each side were gathered, but to the male lead with the protagonist halo this was nothing. As long as nothing unexpected happens, getting first place was a sure thing. Also, another notable person there was a black-clothed youth. Yuan Chu murmured isnt that Wei Xingji, the ultimate boss from the novel, was actually here. Yi Chenyuan's performance was not bad. The sect leader thought Yuan Chu has a good eye for talent. Yuan Chu was proud, of course. The people I like are definitely capable of getting first place. An out-of-place cold snort was heard. Elder Rong Xiu looked displeased. A mere foundation level 8 wanting to get first place. What a joke. Yuan Chu was annoyed. Auntie Rong Xiu, your judgment isn't that good. Rong Xiu was angry. Who are you calling an auntie? Believe it or not, I'll tear your mouth. The sect leader gave her a look. Rong Xiu had to swallow her anger. Isn't she just protected by the sect leader? If I can't deal with you, I can surely deal with an outer disciple. Rong Xiu used some tricks to have Du Sha, who was 3 levels higher, fight against Yi Chenyuan. Yi Chenyuan clearly felt like he was struggling. Rong Xiu was pleased that her plan was working. She was suppressing Yi Chenyuan. She turned to look at Yuan Chu, satisfied, but Yuan Chu was actually sleeping. She crushed the teacup in her hand. Such a worthless person. At this time, Du Sha and Yi Chenyuan had already exchanged several blows. Du Sha had a cold face. The task master gave him was too easy. He was no match for him at all. Just as he was about to finish off Yi Chenyuan in one move, he heard him coldly say, "Burst." Du Sha was shocked. He then realized that his body was covered in explosive talismans. With a series of explosions ringing out on his body, Yi Chenyuan took this chance to appear behind him. With a knife at his throat, he had lost. Long Xiu clenched his fist. How is this possible? At this time, Yuan Chu, who had been asleep, suddenly woke up, still sounding sleepy. My little disciple is awesome. I knew he wouldn't lose. I wonder who was so unlucky to be his opponent. Long Xiu was so angry that he was about to explode. He wanted to fight Yuan Chu. She was definitely mocking him on purpose. The crowd comforted him. Little Chu is the youngest in the sect, don't argue with her. At night, under the moonlight, Yi Chenyuan practiced his footwork. But, his mind was elsewhere, wondering if his master had seen his performance today. Li Lao teased him, it's only been a day and you're already getting restless. Yi Chenyuan blushed, has my master, don't be so disrespectful. If he kept winning, he would soon become his disciple. The outer sect members all knew that Yuan Chu was only 6 years old and wouldn't take a disciple. He suddenly sensed movement behind him. Yi Chenyuan turned around. Who is it? Wei Xingji walked out of the darkness. Yi Chenyuan knew this person. Wasn't he the strongest challenger of this competition, and the hottest candidate to become someone's disciple? The young man said, in just passing by, but it's obvious you want to be her disciple. As long as I'm here, you won't succeed. Let's see who will be the final disciple. We don't know yet. He casually asked, who do you want to choose as your master? Wei Xingji smiled slightly. Han Jianfeng, Peak Master, or Yuan Chu. This little vinegar pot consumes kilogram of vinegar a day. If he doesn't drink it for a day, he becomes lifeless. His 6-year-old wife was actually being targeted by someone. Wei Xingji didn't expect that Yi Chenyuan was also aiming for Yuan Chu. Did he not know that Yuan Chu was only 6 years old? She couldn't possibly be a good master. Yi Chenyuan's eyes flashed with killing intent. Why was this white-haired man trying to steal his master? Wei Xingji said matter-of-factly, the sect's annual resources are distributed equally, and she doesn't have a disciple. If I become her disciple, all those resources will be mine. Just as he finished, Yi Chenyuan flashed forward, his fist aimed at his face. Too late. She is my master's only disciple. Wei Xingji dodged. Then let's see who's more skilled. Yi Chenyuan said coldly, I'll give you the same advice, be careful. Li Lao was stunned, this 6-year-old is really popular. The next day, in the competition, Yi Chenyuan encountered an opponent even stronger than Du Sha. Li Lao worriedly said, this round is going to be difficult. As expected, after only a few rounds, Yi Chenyuan was completely defeated. The sect leader sighed, Yi Chenyuan will probably be eliminated. Yuan Chu knew that although he had the male lead's halo, this challenge was indeed difficult. But even if he lost, it didn't matter. She only planned to take him as a disciple. Long Xiu was gloating, "What did I say? The person someone valued can't even make it into the top." Yuan Shu was instantly angered. At least my disciple didn't get eliminated on the first day, unlike someone's chosen one. The sect leader sighed as he listened to them argue. Two people with a year age gap were acting like children. It was a headache. On the arena, Yi Chenyuan was knocked down once again. His opponent didn't understand why he kept fighting despite losing. Why not just wait for 3 years? Yi Chenyuan said firmly, "I don't want to wait. I finally met someone who made me feel warm and happy. I absolutely cannot let anyone take them away. I have to win this spot." He summoned Li Lao and asked him to help him use the remaining half of the 10,000-year spirit essence. Li Lao was shocked. Is he crazy? His body is already at its limit. Using more might shatter it. Before she could finish, Yi Chenyuan shouted, "I can endure it. I won't give up." For her, a loud explosion rang out. A powerful force spread out. Yuan Chu asked Yi Chenyuan, "What are you doing?" In their past life, they were enemies, but in this life, they had become a loving master-disciple relationship. In order to legitimately become his master's only disciple, Yi Chenyuan used the rest of the 10,000-year spirit essence. He had thought it over carefully. Both of them were severely injured and collapsed on the ground. Yuan Chu was shocked. How could he do this? She hurried to the arena to check on him. The sect leader stopped her. The rules were, both were down. The first to stand up would be the victor. Yi Chenyuan smelled a milky fragrance. It was his master. Perseverance. Bodies quiet. Using the will to possess his master, he stood up. The sect leader immediately announced Yi Chenyuan as the winner. He really couldn't hold on any longer. He directly collapsed onto Yuan Chu. When he woke up, it was already the next day. He suddenly sat up. Yuan Chu, who was about to bring medicine, said, "Who told you to sit up?" Yi Chenyuan anxiously asked, "Did I win?" Yuan Chu scoffed, "You're almost dead and still worrying about the competition." Yi Chenyuan felt guilty and admitted his mistakes. But the thought of losing and someone stealing his master made him unwilling to give up. Yuan Chu sighed, "I'll forgive you this time. If you risk your life like this again, I'll beat you up." Yi Chenyuan looked obedient and nodded repeatedly. Before leaving, she told him to take his medicine and not to participate in the next competition. Yi Chenyuan was puzzled. "Why can't I participate?" Yuan Chu frowned. "Look at yourself, you're a mess. Do you want to go up and get killed?" Yi Chenyuan understood. Master is right. I'm so weak anyone could defeat me. After Yuan Chu left, Yi Chenyuan asked Li Lao if there was any way to help him recover quickly. Li Lao was speechless. Why is this kid so hardworking? What's wrong with having more fellow disciples? Yi Chenyuan wasn't willing. I don't want to share master's smile or care. Her disciple can only be me. Li Lao sighed at his stubbornness. There is a way, but you'll have to endure some pain. On the other side, the sect leader wanted to strangle the little girl in front of him. How could she just give such a valuable item to an outsider? Yuan Chu lowered her head and listened to the scolding. One is produced every 10,000 years. Your mother got it after going through 9 deaths. It was for when your foundation was unstable, and you were about to get into cultivation deviation. It could save you. Yuan Chu said confidently, I won't experience a cultivation deviation. My will is stronger than the gods. Seeing that she didn't admit her mistake, the sect leader decided to punish her for 4 or 5 years. Yuan Chu was punished for years. What to do? The kid wanted to wash times a day. What he didn't know was, if he kept washing, hell be violent. To recover from his injuries, Yi Chenyuan asked Li Lao to help him temper his body. But the tempering medicine was too powerful. Normal people couldn't endure the excruciating pain. This was the most crucial moment. Let's push him away. As soon as Yuan Chu returned, she sensed the intense tempering energy in the room. She realized that Yi Chenyuan had the bloodline of a divine emperor. Once the bloodline was activated, the still weak Yi Chenyuan would definitely die from his blood vessels rupturing. Yuan Chu rushed in front of Yi Chenyuan and struck him hard. Yi Chenyuan coughed out a mouthful of blood, being interrupted at the last moment. In the pain, Yi Chenyuan opened his eyes. He didn't expect that the one to harm him was the one he cared about the most. Before she could say anything, Yuan Chu approached him again, and forcefully extracted the heavenly pearl from his body. Li Lao was shocked. Could it be she wanted to take the heavenly pearl for herself? She shouted at Yi Chenyuan to quickly protect the pearl. Li Lao's words made Yi Chenyuan's heart turn cold. Why, master? Yuan Shu didn't have time to explain. She urged him to quickly share the pearl with her. Seeing that he wasn't moving, Li Lao controlled Yi Chenyuan's body and forced it towards the pearl. As Yi Chenyuan was about to disappear before her eyes, Yuan Shu couldn't care anymore. She hugged Yi Chenyuan and jumped in with him. Their souls merged into Yi Chenyuan's body. In that moment, a scene appeared in Yi Chenyuan's mind. Inside the Heavenly Pearl's dimension, the spiritual energy that could nourish all things, transformed into a raging storm. Instead of nourishing him, it was wreaking havoc. Li Lao then realized that Yi Chenyuan had the bloodline of a divine emperor. While Yuan Shu absorbed the spiritual energy, she gave Yi Chenyuan life force. After an unknown time, the last gust of wind fell. Yuan Shu finally let out a sigh of relief. She scolded Li Lao. You were with him for so long, why didn't you notice his hidden bloodline? And Yi Chenyuan is so young, how could you try to temper his body now? Li Lao argued. How was I supposed to know that someone with the divine emperor's bloodline wouldn't show any signs? And he was only doing that to protect you. Yuan Shu was confused. What does it have to do with me? After Li Lao's long explanation, Yuan Shu found out that while she used their master-disciple relationship to gain his trust, he risked his life for the chance to become her disciple. At this moment, a strange emotion flowed through her heart. Hey, from a life-or-death battle, they became master and disciple who had risked each other's lives. To become her disciple, he wholeheartedly put himself in danger. This caused Yuan Shu to feel guilty, while her heart was touched. Maybe she could be a little nicer to him. Early the next morning, Yi Chenyuan woke up in confusion. Li Lao awkwardly apologized. He just found out that he had the divine emperor's bloodline. He almost caused a big mistake. Luckily Yuan Shu discovered it in time. Although the physical transformation failed, his cultivation had improved quite a bit. Hearing Yuan Shu's name, Yi Chenyuan instantly woke up. Where's master? The competition hasn't ended yet. Yuan Shu naturally went to participate. After not even a day, she had already disappeared. The sect leader knew that Yi Chenyuan hadn't come. He also knew that he had some serious injuries, and would probably need 10 days to half a month to rest. Yuan Shu suddenly gasped. The person on the screen, who else could it be but Yi Chenyuan? These are all such worrisome people. At the arena, Yi Chenyuan went to look for his master. Suddenly a small hand tugged at his clothes. Yi Chenyuan turned around, excitedly calling, Master. Yuan Shu was worried and asked why he wasn't resting in his room. She then grabbed his hand to check, finding that he had indeed improved a lot. Yi Chenyuan blushed. Master is holding my hand. Holding my hand. Seeing his strange expression, Yuan Shu thought he had a fever. Yi Chenyuan hurriedly explained it was just too hot. Seeing that he was just watching the competition, Yuan Shu had no choice but to agree and told him not to push himself. Yi Chenyuan found Wei Xingji to make a deal. He knew that Wei Xingji was lacking resources. As long as Wei Xingji agreed to one thing, in the future, he would provide any pills Wei Xingji needed. Wei Xingji's face changed. Did he look that poor? Although he really was. After some haggling, he finally got 2 high-grade spiritual artifacts. He wanted Wei Xingji to make it to the final and fight him. But if Wei Xingji won, he wanted Wei Xingji to choose someone other than Yuan Shu to be his master. Wei Xingji didn't expect his condition to be that simple. As expected, having money gives you options. In the following competition, he fought with one goal. Yi Chenyuan went through the stages. He entered the finals. The two finally met at the finals. How could this kid be so silly? To actually have a 6-year-old as his teacher, and she's the first place in the competition. The sect leader saw his talent and wanted to take him as a disciple. His words shocked everyone. This kid was going straight to the sky. Yuan Shu was nervous. Was this old guy trying to steal her disciple? Yi Chenyuan directly rejected. He was here for only one person, and that was Han Jianfeng, Yuan Shu. Everyone found it unbelievable. It wasn't a simple matter anymore, to reject the sect leader and choose a 6-year-old as a master. Wasn't he destroying his future? The sect leader knew that Yi Chenyuan was unmovable and had to give up on this idea. Yuan Shu couldn't understand. She already said she was only going to take one disciple. Why was he fighting for it? He was clearly not one to seek attention. Yi Chenyuan looked at her tenderly, because I want everyone to know, only the best is worthy of being your disciple. In the past, people always talked about him as someone extremely weak, extremely jealous that he has a good mother, but didn't think he was weak. They discussed in secret that no one would choose him to be their disciple. He wanted to let them know that it wasn't that no one would take him, but he would only choose the strongest. Since that's the case, then I will reluctantly take you in. From now on, I, Yuan Chu, will only have you, Yi Chen Yuan, as a disciple. After the competition ended, Yi Chen Yuan found out that his master had been punished with 5 years of confinement. The reason was that he used the 10th Sanjia spiritual fluid. He felt guilty. He was determined to find better treasures for his master. He brought food to the heavenly cliff. Looking at the rugged and dangerous terrain, he couldn't help but feel sad. Master with such a carefree personality was confined here for him. If he returned the 10th Sanjia spiritual fluid and begged the sect leader to reduce the punishment, would it work? Smelling the food, Yuan Chu thought it was Xiao Qiu. She was surprised to see that Yi Chen Yuan came to deliver food. She thought that it was Xiao Qiu imitating Yi Chen Yuan. Yi Chen Yuan took out the box containing the 10th Sanjia spiritual fluid and gave it to Yuan Chu. This was given to you by your mother. I can't take it. You're punished because of me. It's useless. Yuan Chu thought that he must have wanted to beg her to say something, but this item was more useful for Yi Chen Yuan. And even if he didn't use it, Li Lao would. Anyway, he was still young. She can give it to him when he gets good stuff in the future. Seeing that he still wanted to talk, Yuan Chu stuffed a piece of meat in his mouth, then added another one. Yi Chen Yuan's face was flushed. Chopsticks. He and Master shared the same pair of chopsticks. What bad intentions could a disciple have towards his master? He just wanted to be closer to her. He was under some spell. Li Lao was so shocked to see Yi Chen Yuan's action. Li Lao didn't expect that this kid would actually dare to do this kind of thing. Yi Chen Yuan was a little embarrassed, but he was still curious why not. When he was a kid, his mother also did this with him. Li Lao was surprised. He actually didn't know that there was a difference, but it is understandable that a 10-year-old wouldn't know about that stuff. He then explained the difference between men and women. The way of showing affection should be done between people of the same gender, not touching randomly. Yi Chen Yuan didn't understand. So, a disciple couldn't express their feelings in this way to their master. Li Lao sighed. Which disciple expressed their affection by touching? Can't you just give them gifts? Looking at the familiar Yuan Chu, Yi Chen Yuan knew that in his heart, he wanted to be more than just a disciple. After 5 years, the two of them were sent on a mission. On the way, they saved a woman who was being chased. After getting the people away, Yi Chen Yuan immediately pulled on his master. He didn't want to meddle. Yuan Chu, however, couldn't resist talking to the woman for a while. The woman told Yuan Chu that they were going to the Zhu family's mansion. This was a perverse family who practiced dual cultivation. She was forced by the Zhu family's old master to be his concubine. She ran away when she couldn't take it anymore. They are so cute, it'll be very dangerous for you if you go there. Yuan Chu was confident that she could handle it. While flying, Yi Chen Yuan looked at Yuan Chu with displeasure. That woman clearly didn't know his master. Why was she chatting with her for so long? Yuan Chu complained, this kid only has looks, he doesn't have any brains. When a beauty is in trouble, shouldn't you help her? Can you stop using that brain of yours? He looked at them and sighed. Davin. So, she pretended to fall forward, swaying wildly. Yuan Chu purposely leaned forward. Yi Chen Yuan subconsciously reached out to catch her. He crashed into her chest. He landed in her embrace. He looked up in pain. It hurts. I bumped my nose. Yi Chen Yuan was a little awkward. He just wanted to touch Master, who knew he would hurt her. At this time, the Zhu family also arrived. Yuan Chu immediately investigated. Looking at her empty hands, Yi Chen Yuan felt a little disappointed. He really wanted to hug her again. The Zhu family head was already waiting at the door. As soon as the two landed, they felt something was off. The whole Zhu family mansion was covered in dark energy. Yuan Chu knew that this trip wouldn't be safe. And this person covered in black energy was the Zhu family's ancestor Zhu Daofu. I think you came for this. This old man was supposed to be dead, but lived for a few more decades. All thanks to a drum in the box. Zhu Daofu told Yuan Chu that this was their Zhu family treasure, the desolate drum. Yi Chen Yuan and Yuan Chu both looked at each other. They knew this wasn't a legitimate item. Zhu Daofu explained that it may sound strange, but this item could stabilize their soul. And the Zhu family also had a spirit pool that could help cultivation. Why not try it sometime? Yi Chen Yuan's eyes lit up. Wouldn't those 2 items be very helpful to master? To be back in the room, Yi Chenyuan asked in a low voice if the desolate drum and the soul-stabilizing drum were effective. Yuan Shu explained that the 10,000-year spiritual fluid was a powerful divine object, while the soul-stabilizing drum was for calming the soul. But in terms of effect, the soul-stabilizing drum is better. Yi Chenyuan thought, if that was the case, then could he trade with the Zhu family for some more? Yuan Shu suddenly asked if they wanted to go to the Zhu family's spirit pool. Yi Chenyuan's brain exploded. Together. Take a bath. Yuan Shu brought him to a place filled with mist. How is it? I told you this place was worth coming to. Then her clothes. She casually jumped into the water. She called out to Yi Chenyuan to hurry down. Yi Chenyuan's face flushed red. Old Li, appearing from nowhere, seeing him hesitating, kicked him into the water. Yi Chenyuan, blaming his own restlessness, kept reminding himself that he needs to cultivate hard. Old Li saw that he quickly entered a cultivation state. Turning around, he saw Yuan Shu floating on the water. He asked her what she was doing. Yuan Shu smiled lightly. Such beautiful scenery, it's a waste to cultivate. Monotonous cultivation is just black ink on white paper, so pure and boring. And she hoped her white paper was colorful. They are looking for eternal life, but she is looking for the joy of the soul. After speaking, the surrounding spiritual power gathered together, purely entering Yuan Shu's body. Old Li was shocked. She had comprehended her own path. Yi Chenyuan was awakened by this scene and stared seriously at Yuan Shu. Looking at her, he, a beginner, had no qualification to stand side by side with her. No, he has to become strong. He wants to protect her. This thought grew stronger. The spiritual energy of the heaven and earth went berserk. Old Li was dumbfounded. This kid is too. When did talents become so common? Such a commotion had already alerted the surrounding sects. They had never seen such a talented young cultivator. This young cultivator, I must have him. This 80-year-old was truly a pervert. To get the bodies of the 2 children, he decided to poison the tea. Just as Yuan Shu was about to drink, the teacup flew away. Yi Chenyuan reacted and yelled for her not to drink. Yuan Shu told him to wait for him in the heavenly pearl. To let the old man relax, he had to drink the tea. After speaking, he drank the tea. Soon after, he felt his head spinning. Yi Chenyuan panicked and caught Yuan Shu. Why is he so stupid? Seeing Yuan Shu drink, Zhu Daofu laughed. When Yuan Shu woke up, he was already in a cold prison. Yi Chenyuan felt relieved that he was awake. Yuan Shu asked, didn't I tell him to wait inside? Why did you come here? And injured so badly? Yi Chenyuan said seriously, I wasn't comfortable leaving you alone out here. The pure concern from this fool made it impossible for Yuan Shu to scold him. Touched, he hugged him tightly. My good disciple, you're so sweet. Yi Chenyuan gently wiped away his tears, reminding him that in this prison it's not safe, and he had to protect himself. Yuan Shu was nearly in tears. Where did that dark-hearted demon from his past life go? Even while injured, he still worried about her. At this time, Zhu Daofu emerged from the darkness. Seeing Zhu Daofu, the energetic Yuan Shu immediately pretended to be weak. Zhu Daofu didn't expect Yuan Shu to wake up so quickly, but it looked like he was too weak to speak. With a wave of his hand, Yuan Shu's body floated up. Yi Chenyuan tried to grab him, but was bound by Zhu Daofu's barrier. Zhu Daofu, are you not afraid the Wan Jian sect will come for you? Zhu Daofu sneered, I saw that you have ancient bloodlines in your body. As long as I take your body, no one will know that I'm still alive. And once I refine your master and merge with you. He lightly pinched Yuan Shu's chin. I haven't played with a tender doll like this before. Yi Chenyuan was furious. How dare you touch my master with your dirty hands? He must cut off that hand. Just as Zhu Daofu thought he could have his way, Yuan Shu suddenly opened his eyes, and quickly gathered spiritual power. A bang was heard. A straight punch. The unsuspecting Zhu Daofu spat out blood. How is this possible? He was clearly poisoned. It's fine. How can he still move? Knowing that he was no match for Yuan Shu, he directly grabbed Yi Chenyuan to threaten him. Yuan Shu regretted that he was not quick enough to allow that old thing to grab his little disciple. Let him go and I'll let you leave. Zhu Daofu refused to let him go unless Yuan Shu left the Zhu family immediately, or he would kill the kid. Yuan Shu laughed mockingly. You think you can escape? How about this? You let him go and I'll give you 1,000-mile escape talisman. If you don't agree, I won't budge. Zhu Daofu thought for a moment and agreed. But then, poison. The moment, the little dog, used the port, called the Fengzhai, set a trap, and activated it. Only a loud bang was heard. How ruthless could this boy be? He actually cut off an 80-year-old man's arm, but instead of caring about the old man, he worriedly hugged the boy. The trap was supposed to kill the old man, but he took Yi Chenyuan with him, which caused his little disciple to be more injured. That old man is so bad. I have already sent a message to other sects. Well, let them deal with him. Yi Chenyuan was full of anger. He only cut off one hand. It was too cheap for him. The people of the Qianhe sect arrived first. After Yuan Chu gave them Zhu Daofu, he smiled at them like a fox. They'd caught such a bad person. Should they have some rewards? The crowd was sweating profusely. They didn't have anything that a cultivator could want. Yuan Chu comforted them. He only wanted them to hand over the Zhu family's medical books. Dark clouds covered his face. Yuan Chu was looking greedy. He put the books and spiritual stones away. The Zhu family must still have some treasures left. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Chenyuan took out some red fruits. Yuan Chu's eyes lit up. My disciple is so thoughtful, but thinking that the storage ring on Zhu Daofu was not taken, he felt a bit regretful, which Yi Chenyuan pulled out again. Yuan Chu was excited. My disciple knows my thoughts so well. Let's split the loot. We all get a share. The force at the side. Old Kiao told Yi Chenyuan. Yuan Chu had a single path in mind. Otherwise, he couldn't have broken so many obstacles at such a young age. Yi Chenyuan didn't understand. In Master's heart, what was more important than him and Wan Jian sect? Just thinking about Master caring about someone else made him want to kill them. Returning to the sect leader berated Yuan Chu for disrespecting his elders and punished him with 3 years of confinement. Yuan Chu's cheeks puffed out. He completed the mission, but was punished. He had to do 3 years of confinement. How could he waste his good years like this? If he didn't escape, he would be a fool. He had to take his little disciple to live freely. Even though in his past life, Yi Chenyuan was far behind him, he still remembered where the treasures were. And now, he had the protagonist halo protecting him. Getting treasures would be easy. It was so awesome. Yi Chenyuan, seeing him so excited, couldn't bear to stop him. And so, the three of them embarked on their journey to become stronger. This day, Yi Chenyuan was breaking through to become a divine emperor, when a man and a woman barged into the vicinity. The woman was the demon saintess, Ji Hongyang. She said, "He is the demon race's sacred object." Just a glance of this dazzling face. She wanted to marry him. Selfish. Lightning had already struck times. Just when Yuan Chu thought it was over, the sky suddenly went dark. Old Li exclaimed, "It's the 49 heavenly tribulation. Don't be reckless. ISNT the 49 heavenly tribulation, only for those with a cause." The tribulation was too much for the recently recovered Yi Chenyuan. Yi Chenyuan yelled. He couldn't let his master down. "I know, Chief." The terrifying lightning was so destructive. Even the resolute Yi Chenyuan couldn't help but cry out in pain. Ji Hongyang couldn't bear to watch. She didn't want the handsome guy to die before she got to talk to him. Don't be impulsive. She used her powers to help him withstand it, but each time she tried, it was shattered into pieces. As expected, external help was useless. They had to endure it. At this moment, Yi Chenyuan felt his vision blurring. He didn't want to let his master down, but it felt like he couldn't hold on anymore. Just as the next thunderbolt was about to strike, Yuan Chu silently moved and shielded him. Yi Chenyuan's heart was in turmoil. How could she? Yuan Chu shouted at him to get farther away. Yuan Chu looked at him intensely. She said seriously, "I'll go through this tribulation with you." Another bolt of lightning crashed down on him. Yuan Chu felt a searing pain. Pain, and more pain. But she is the master. She had to be there with him. Yi Chenyuan's eyes turned red. His heart was in so much pain, it was numb. He pulled Yuan Chu into a tight embrace. "You were the one who wouldn't leave. You were the one who hugged me first. Since it's like this, don't ever leave. Thunder and heaven, stay by my side." Ji Hongyang was shocked. To support him, she was willing to share the tribulation. This girl chose to endure the tribulation with him. The clouds dispersed. Yi Chenyuan, like a puppet, hugged the unconscious Yuan Chu. He threw a pill to Ji Hongyang, who helped him, and turned to leave. Ji Hongyang didn't expect that there was someone who wouldn't be moved by her beauty. "Man, you've successfully caught my attention." Inside the heavenly pearl, Yi Chenyuan stared silently at the unconscious Yuan Chu. There was no expression on his face. After this life and death experience, he clearly understood that his feelings for Yuan Chu weren't merely master-disciple affection. He tightly held her hand. Even hugging her close didn't feel enough. Everyone knew. A day later, Yuan Chu woke up. She stared at Yi Chen Yuan with wide eyes. Little Yuan Yuan, you succeeded in surviving the tribulation. You are indeed the disciple I brought up. All those other peak masters must be envious. Yi Chen Yuan only stared blankly at her, before turning away to prepare food for her. Yuan Chu grabbed the clueless Li Lao, and asked why Yi Chen Yuan looked so upset, and not at all happy. Li Lao said that he didn't understand either. Yuan Chu suddenly realized, it must be because they haven't told little Yuan Yuan how awesome surviving the day tribulation is. So little Yuan Yuan doesn't think it's a big deal. While they were having a self-debate, Yi Chen Yuan, who had gone to find food, was captured. The naive boy was just looking for some food, when a flirtatious woman started to bother him. The woman thought that a naive youth would be easy to capture. But who knew Yi Chen Yuan would be more bloodthirsty than her? He even ignored her completely. Ji Hongyang didn't expect someone as beautiful as her to be treated like this. Immediately she had a plan. He jumped into the stream, and started cleaning himself. Then he rubbed against Yi Chen Yuan, pretending to be pure and innocent. Yi Chen Yuan pushed her away with extreme disgust. Is this woman sick? I used this water to wash the blood of the prey, and she is coming out of it. Silently turning away and grilling meat, leaving the woman doubting herself. Ji Hongyang was unwilling. She brazenly walked to the campfire and took off her clothes. Yi Chen Yuan couldn't take it anymore when he saw her doing this. He turned around, put on your clothes and disappear from my sight. This kid is so unromantic. Am I not beautiful? Does he not like me? If he doesn't like it, it's okay, I can teach him. Yi Chen Yuan distanced himself, and said coldly, I don't think you look like me, but you are very annoying. Ji Hongyang's anger surged. Did he call her a tomboy? Rage welled up inside. She threw a powder at Yi Chen Yuan. Yi Chen Yuan didn't expect someone who he had helped to plot against him, so he was hit by the powder. Ji Hongyang laughed triumphantly. This is the special 3-day love powder. It can amplify your deepest desires. Let's see how he can resist now. Yi Chen Yuan's eyes turned fierce. His spiritual power surged, and blood essence gushed. Yi Chen Yuan said with a sharp voice, get out. Ji Hongyang widened her eyes in disbelief. How could a beginner at the Foundation establishment realm withstand her? This is such a terrifying power. She would die if she angered him more. For the first time, she had lost so badly. Inside the Heavenly Pearl, Yuan Chu saw everything clearly and thought, as expected of a demon clan lady, impressive. Yi Chen Yuan took a deep breath, and threw her into the lake. Yuan Chu was confused. Why did he put her inside my square meter treasure? Suddenly she realized something. He must be suppressing his desires for the next 3 days. How embarrassing. Here's my disciple. What's there to be embarrassed about? When she came out of the Heavenly Pearl, she didn't see Yi Chen Yuan. Li Lao told her that Yi Chen Yuan had directly blasted open a tunnel in the mountain, and used a barrier to seal the entrance. Yuan Chu worriedly wanted to check, but she heard Yi Chen Yuan's desperate plea, don't come in, master. Don't come in. Yuan Chu became even more worried after hearing his pain. She was worried and tried to persuade him to come out. She wanted to see him. Yi Chen Yuan refused to let her in. If she knew what he wanted to do, she would be terrified, and would push him away and ignore him, maybe even expel him from the sect. He didn't want that. Seeing that he was so resistant, Yuan Chu was helpless, but she would guard the entrance to the tunnel. March Street. Yuan Chu hadn't slept for 3 days. She was on the verge of collapsing from exhaustion. A loud bang was heard. Yuan Chu immediately woke up. Did little Yuan Yuan come out? She is a master, but she still wants to hug her master every day. Yi Chen Yuan was staring blankly at her. Yuan Chu was worried that the bad woman had cast a spell on him. Yi Chen Yuan smiled gently reassuringly, and said he was fine, his eyes full of unspoken tenderness. Yuan Chu wondered if it was just her imagination. She felt like Yi Chen Yuan's aura had changed, but regardless, little Yuan Yuan was her disciple. As long as he was okay, no matter what he did, she would support him. A flash of light flickered through Yi Chen Yuan's eyes. Really? You'll support me no matter what? Yuan Chu answered without hesitation, of course. Yi Chen Yuan's eyes darkened. Then, can I? I really want to kiss her. I want to be closer to her. A loud yawn interrupted his thoughts. A relaxed Yuan Chu had already been overwhelmed with sleepiness. She stumbled and fell into Yi Chenyuan's arms. He had been guarding him for 3 days. Heaven knew how many times he wanted to rush in to check on him. Yi Chenyuan wanted to tell her that he couldn't take it anymore during these 3 days. The desires in his heart were amplified infinitely. The 3 days had passed like a dream, and she had completely seen her true feelings. His feelings for her were not only master-disciple or friendship, but what should he do in the future? He was afraid that he could never go back to the way things were before. Once he accepted, he would receive more damage than her. Cultivators value inheritance and back up the most, especially for ancient sects like Wan Jian. He only hoped that his master could always be happy. He didn't want to harm his master. Maybe it was time to leave. He told Yuan Chu about his plan to go out alone and train. The disciple is going out now. Was the chick he raised so hard going to fly away now? Thinking that they might not see each other for years, he felt very reluctant. Suddenly, Yuan Chu thought of something. Him going out meant the plot was about to start. Then the beauties and treasures wouldn't be far behind. Wouldn't they be able to split the loot then? Thinking of this, he immediately agreed. He knows his disciple has great ambitions. Although Yi Chenyuan knew that his master would agree, he didn't expect him to agree so readily. Seeing that he didn't seem sad, he felt a little down. But, the next second, she said something that made his soul freeze. Emma, you want to leave home, right? He thought she would cry her eyes out, or be heartbroken. Who knew, she agreed so readily. She even wanted to cut their only connection. Hearing that she wanted to break the heavenly pearl sharing, Yi Chenyuan's face changed drastically. Why? Is master angry and wants to draw a line with me? Yuan Chu grabbed his sleeve and explained that he would be too far away from her to cultivate, so even if he has the pearl he can't enter it. It was better to break it and share with others in the future if he needs. Yi Chenyuan knew that his master was thinking of him, but he didn't want to break it at all, because as long as the pearl was there, he could sense his master no matter the distance. But Yuan Chu just wanted to break it. How else could he stir up trouble?